just share their thoughts on what they think happens after SpaceX IPOs on June 12th. Is it going to go up? Is it going to crash? Like, what's going to happen? Yeah.
I've been thinking and talking a lot about this.
Yeah.
So I heard that, I don't know the numbers on it, and I haven't heard a recent update, but I heard that they're not listing a large chunk of all of the shares that are out there. As you can imagine, people who might own SpaceX around this table probably aren't unloading in the first week, probably not in the first year, maybe after. So my theory is that there's only going to be a small fraction of shares that are put public, and all of these Robinhood investors that have this special access to the IPO maybe 4 hours before it goes public, they're going to be diving in like crazy. Then it hits the market. I think people are going to be FOMOing. I think it's going to be a good week of people buying it up. But then slowly over time, people are going to start realizing the fundamentals aren't there to back up that valuation. People that are on this table who are up 1,000, 10,000% on their SpaceX holdings are going to want to start cashing in on some of those gains. Then you're diluting the stock a lot more. In order for the stock to hold up at that valuation, you're going to need a lot of buying pressure, and they're going to need to be moving fast. SpaceX isn't a fast business model. They take a lot of time and a lot of money. So my theory is that it's going to rise very fast, but I don't think it's going to stay above IPO prices for long.
I agree. Yeah. And I think that this kind of IPO that we're going to see is going to be different from any one that we've seen before. I think they have, again, seeing a lot of Instagram memes and viral posts about a SpaceX IPO and Anthropic's and OpenAI's, which is weird to see things go viral like that, like memes about an IPO. That's really weird, and I think that they're doing a really good job of marketing it, and I think it's going to go crazy with retail traders, and I think it's going to go up like crazy, like Quinn is saying, but then all those retail traders it's going to be like not exactly a GameStop thing, but like GameStop energy to it, like small pump stock energy to it.
I'm curious, how many of you, because everyone here, or most people here use, some type of broker, how many of your brokers have sort of floated like, hey, you can get SpaceX shares before the IPO? Like, no one yet? Because I've heard, haven't they let some for like Ameritrade, maybe Robinhood.
Robinhood for sure.
Okay.
Charles Schwab. Yeah.
It's Robinhood, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, SoFi, and E-Trade.
But how do you get access to that if you're one of those customers?
They will be available on those platforms at some point.
Okay.
They haven't just
maybe it's going to be some free-for-all frenzy thing where you
fly.
Yeah, it's just they're going to incite some type of like compressed. It's like a coiled spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume there'll be some line based on size of some of these people with accounts. Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at it. If you want to buy it immediately after it IPOs, just like a regular retail trader, you're just fighting with everybody. It's just like piranhas attacking like a piece of meat or something like that in the water. But if you have enough like money in whatever brokerage you have, you can register to be selected for IPO pre-filling or pre-filling's not the word, but like you get it at the IPO price, but you have to have enough money with whatever brokerage you have. Oh. And even then you have to be like selected, which they have discretion to say no, but most of the time you can. So in terms of like actually like making a trade on this, I think if you have the ability to buy through your broker's like IPO filling or whatever, there's a specific name to it. You have to go to their calendar. If you have the ability to buy it through that, I feel like it's not a bad idea to buy it through that and even just like immediately sell it like a couple of hours later. That's still going to be like very solid, good percents, I think, on that. And in terms of if you want to go into the piranha feeding frenzy, I don't really know about that. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, so
check that out through your broker.
It seems like it's been priced at, I think the latest funding round, 1.75 trillion?
Yeah.
Something. On Hyperliquid, which is some type of broker thing where you're going to do I don't know. Is it crypto based? I don't know. It's some other thing, but it's
high leverage on things.
Okay, it's traded at 203, which implied market cap of 2.4 trillion. So I would say, knowing how the IPO game works, I'd say a very good chance this opens above 3 trillion or so. You know how it goes. Honestly, like just speaking as the trader in me, would not shock me if just for the memes and the giggles, it surpasses NVIDIA in market cap. Like, it could happen just in a blip and then crash. But what I'm saying is just to get that, that's just how things go in the trading world. The stupidest headline always happens. So I could see it passing up NVIDIA, like just briefly at least.
Especially if it's low float too.
Yeah, they're compressing the float on this. So
I think one catalyst that could keep the stock just absolutely pumping post IPO is that everyone knows this is going to get added to like most of these indices, like S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100. And so with that in mind, there's going to be a bunch of people who essentially are like front running that, right? They know all the passive ETFs are going to need to buy this up. And they're like, well, I could hold this for the next 12 months until it gets added to these indices. And I know the stock price is going to go up as a result of that. So that could push it. I think that could push it up as well. Yeah. So because it's very rarely do you have a company IPO that everyone knows is going to get added to like the S&P 500, to NASDAQ 100.
The index requirements.
The NASDAQ 100 changed theirs a bit. S&P didn't. I doubt they will.
It goes to show if you're big and powerful enough, like SpaceX, you can push the regulations anyway.
Yeah.
So to go to the whole point, if we get onto the moon or something, who knows? But
yeah.
Push it.
I'm not exactly sure what they changed. I don't think it was anything too crazy. I think a lot of people kind of just blew it out of proportion, but I don't remember off the top of my head what the exact changes were. If we want to ask Claude.
Bottom line, they're going to get it in there. They're going to get
it in
the big indexes. And also NVIDIA is 5.2 trillion market cap right now?
Yep.
So, all right. That's the mark for the memes. I could see it pumping to that at some point, and then who knows what it does after. People floated around 10 trillion in value. Like I've seen a justification on Twitter. Someone did a whole like crazy analysis to justify 10 trillion. I have no idea. The reality is no one knows how to value this thing. Yeah. That doesn't mean it's overvalued. It just means there's so many unknown variables that you can do pie in the sky or just back the envelope math on, because it's forward looking. It's pricing in the space industry build out, which has not really been done to the scale they're planning on. So you can just throw any number out there. Now, people could say, they did that in .com and everything crashed, but it seems like, if you look at how things are scaling, it's not like super out of the question, if this data center thing actually gets going. So you can't just say, oh, it's overvalued, it's going to crash. It's just never been done before at this level. SpaceX is essentially a massive startup. It's a massive startup, but they're actually they're moving towards their goals, or at least they're executing so far. Now with Elon, it's dubious on the timelines in that he operates, because Elon is the salesman, great salesman. He always floats the most optimistic timeline possible, but he does that intentionally to sort of motivate his employees and also just get the funding. But so he claims, right, space-based data centers in 3 years. Gavin Baker, who I would trust he's a leading semis analyst, but he's more level-headed on this. He says he's even saying before 2030, which is 4 years. So it seems like, okay, this thesis is not like too far-fetched. So again, SpaceX, it really, I think it depends on market sentiment. But the market sentiment is pretty hot, and just you think about all the other IPOs that are going to happen pretty soon, Anthropic, OpenAI, and then Anduril probably next year. Like, the sentiment could still stay quite hot,
This might be the first of many.
Yeah, It could get crazy. Like, we really haven't had that type of level of mania. Like, even a lot of us weren't around for that, but you just research it, study it. That level of mania that .com had, that .com boom, we haven't had that, it seems like. So if there's something that's going to sort of jettison that, it would be this, combined with, again, we talked about this before, but the pattern day trading requirements.
Oh God, yeah.
Like the $25,000 pattern day trading limit being removed, and now everyone's going to be able to gamble on their tiny accounts, in and out. Like, it's just gonna, you see it. It's just, the SIBO becoming, doing binary options. Like, look, we're going to turn this into a high volume gambling house. And so what's that going to do? Exacerbate momentum, So yeah, this could get very nuts. This could get very nuts. And it might not just stop with SpaceX. I think very good chance it gets crazier, a lot crazier. But I'm not about to throw out a prediction for what I think SpaceX will do. But I'll just say I could see it passing up NVIDIA pretty quickly. What it does from there, who knows? But yeah.
If your time horizon is 10 plus years, do you think buying SpaceX on IPO is a good idea?
I would say yeah. But again, I would expect some point. Every stock has their, and also every industry boom wave is going to have their massive drawdown period where sentiment reverses. And so would not be shocked to see some kind of 50 to 70% or more drawdown in SpaceX also during that time frame. Yeah, they could be higher, a lot higher then than now, but it's not going to be a smooth ride, that's for sure. Buying this or thinking about buying this is not financial advice, but just keep in mind this thing's, even though it's a large cap, like a mega cap, it can still be crazy. How many of you plan to, if you're not in SpaceX, how many of you plan to buy it?
Like at IPO?
Yeah, or pretty quickly. Okay, some of you.
I don't know if I'll buy it day of the IPO, but
Yeah,
definitely at some point.
right. Do you
Yeah.
guys want to explain your thesis or just why you think?
I think just long term, he's gonna make it work.
Right.
That's and he's a really motivated guy. And even 3-year timeline of putting data centers up there. I mean, that sounds amazing, and he's leading that now, and he's thinking about that, and it's gonna work. I don't know. He's really gonna put his mind to it.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that, man, you don't see around.
Right.
He comes one of every 100 years,
It's like a Rockefeller type.
Yeah,
like that. Mario, did you want to explain your?
Yeah, no, I definitely see the value in the long-term play of SpaceX, but if I can get shares at the IPO price, it would be for some crazy run-up and then get out,
Yeah.
reassess.
yeah. Yeah. Because the hype is there.
Mhm.
I mean, it's viral everywhere, and especially with OpenAI
And
dropping.
I just looked up on Robinhood's IPO access page, which usually has a couple of listings of whatever's coming up. They have nothing right now.
Yeah, they don't got it on there.
So it's going to be this and nothing else, which is going to be a lot for retail.
And Robinhood's going to try to incite maximum feeding frenzy.
100%.
They know how to do that.
It's going to be posted on the front page.
Yeah.
You'll have to scroll to look at how your account is doing because it's just going to be SpaceX at the top.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did anyone else say they were getting in? Al, did you say?
Yeah. I like what Mario said. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So.
Can we ask Claude to dive into? I know they published some stuff with the SEC for the roadshow they're going on, and I know there was some top line revenue information and bottom line information as well. But I think what I've seen based on that, it puts SpaceX at 150 times sales, at its IPO price. So that's what I've been watching. I own Rocket Lab. And so I've kind of been saying all right, this is obviously going to run up with the SpaceX hype, but at a certain point, after a certain valuation, just me personally, it's I can't justify owning it once it's deviated so far from a rational valuation. So I'm just curious to see what those metrics look like for SpaceX.
While that's doing that, I'll just, as a sort of an analogy or comparison, Palantir, for example, it's a company no one knows how to value.
Yeah.
A lot of funds just don't invest in it, right? Because how do you value it? But we know that, actually, we don't even know the specifics of their technology because they're secretive about it because it's intelligence related. But apparently they have a big moat on it. And so they're trading at, 62, 63 times sales, which is absurd,
Yeah.
It's historically, if you go through any back tests or whatever, a company trading at that type of valuation is just bound to crash in stock because no company has ever sustained a growth rate to justify that. But Palantir's growth rate has been absolutely crazy, just consistently growing 50, 60%. their sales every year. So we're dealing with the great unknowns here, but SpaceX is very similar in that.
Key difference there, though, is like they're profitable, so you can get like kind of like you can start using like their forward PE to justify any of these certain things. And like Palantir's a good example. I mean, that used to trade 500 times earnings. Now it's down to like 130, still high, but a big part of that's just how flat the stock's been. The past, call it 6 to 12 months after a huge run up. But I'm curious to see what these valuation metrics look like.
By trailing 12-month revenue, or the 2025 numbers that came out in the S1, I think, so at 1.75 trillion, price to sales ratio is going to be like 93, 94.
Okay.
Now, and then 2 trillion, it'll be 107. 3 trillion, I'm sure where it probably ends up, it's going to be, that's, so it's going to be like, let's just call it Palantir-ish type valuation.
Okay.
Straight on that, but.
Yeah, so like for reference, Rocket Lab is, I think, 115 times sales. Yeah, 115 times sales right now. So I've started to trim because, I mean, I've always been very bullish on it, but my logic has been, can it trade at a more expensive valuation than SpaceX?
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. Just given like the actual like market share that each of them would get in their respective businesses. Like, I mean, SpaceX is significantly larger, call it, 20 times, 25 times larger.
Again, this is essentially Rocket Lab is interesting because it's now it's what, 78, 79 billion in market cap. Oh, like I remember when this was like single digit billions. But anyway, it's essentially like pre-revenue now because they do have revenue and they do have the successful Neutron launches or the Electron launches, and that's operating pretty consistently. But those rockets are so tiny. All the value, or most of it's contingent on them getting their medium payload Neutron rocket up and running. And that thing has not even really been built yet, or it hasn't been launched yet. They got to do some test launches. And with the launch industry, like even SpaceX, when you're getting a new rocket going, you're going to have some failures. It's just bound to happen. Physics is different, gravity and getting into space, like that's difficult to achieve. And so they'll learn by doing, but they have to get some launches out there. There's probably going to be some failures. It's going to cost, it tends to usually cost more than expected. Seems like they don't have much cash there, so they might have to do some more raises. But again, this Neutron rocket, it's contingent on this, and we just don't know yet, Now, given the track record of like Peter Beck and what they've done with Electron, which is already amazing because pretty much no other company really besides SpaceX and Rocket Lab, at least publicly, has pulled that off. We're not even close, like getting rockets consistently into orbit. Like I would bet on them figuring Neutron out. It's just, what's the time frame on that, right? Yeah. Could be several years. Who knows? Could be quicker than that, but it's just the great unknown. But yeah, if you want to, with space, it's just lots of speculative value. It's all based on future expectations. Now, SpaceX does have they have Starlink. They have some things going for them. Starlink could be a potential monopoly in the future, gunning for Verizon. We'll see how that scales.
Or for like, I think they're for like airlines.
They're putting it on all the airlines now.
It's like all Starlink.
Yeah, so it's coming. You'll be able to get a connection from anywhere.
Yeah.
And then XAI, and they have Cursor, right? So there's other things they have now. I think they're still trying to figure out potential revenues down the line from that. But so you can't really look too hard at the trailing 12-month numbers because things have changed a lot just within recent weeks. But if you're comparing among those types of metrics, if you want to, versus a Rocket Lab, then I would say SpaceX is better valued than the Rocket Lab because of all the things they have going for them. You're just going to have to take a stab in the dark on what you think the value should be. Because and just if anyone says the value should be a certain thing, well, they just don't believe them because no one knows. That's the true answer. We'll just see what the market thinks on this. But I think it could get very crazy. The market loves to overshoot both directions. So it's going to be a wild ride regardless. I think me personally, I'm going to at least keep a portion of it, probably at least half of it. I may or may not sell some on the IPO or shortly after. But I do want to keep a chunk forever. Because I do believe in the whole, down the line, the long-term thesis. I believe in that too. I mean, Elon's got the track record of disruption, innovation. So, yeah. Any more questions on SpaceX? Okay. So kind of stay with the whole pre-revenue and speculative pie in the sky stuff.